disciplinary action and or termination of city manager.
So moved.
Motion's made.
Second.
Second. So open for discussion. Mr. Chris, the first reason that we brought this up is due to your blatant disregard and disrespect of this board and to the citizens of this community. It's the way I feel. Anyone else have anything to say about
You know,
that?
one of the reasons that we went to the city manager charter type of government is, for me, was to add some stability to the city. In the last 7 months, we've had anything but stability. It's been, now we're discussing on how our citizens can address us in a meeting. We never had to do that before. I've been coming to board meetings for 12 years. We've never had this type of controversy ever. And I think we've got the right form of government. I really do. I think we need to take a look at who's running it.
Any other discussion?
Well, I have some concern in that I understand that there have been some heated tempers and some other things that I think everyone might wish they had not said, as Mr. Christie apologized for that tonight at the beginning of his comments. My concern is that given everything that we've talked about with the turmoil in the last 7 months, I think the citizens deserve this form of government and a chance to make it work. And I think that the last thing we need is more turmoil. I think that given proper expectations and accountability, if things don't change and things don't improve, we certainly can do this at any point in time. But I think to turn the city upside down again, given everything that's been going on in the last year, is unfair to the citizens, the employees, and the people that expect better from us as leaders in the city. I also think that it's fiscally irresponsible, 6 months into this, to then pay under the employment agreement a $40,000 severance amount for someone to leave our city, for us to start a new job search for however many months that may take, and just put us back in turmoil. Now, I do agree that Mr. Christie's behavior and our behavior as leaders needs to be improved, and I've spoken with him about that privately. I think that we can sit down in a work session and very clearly articulate under the charter, even though we may be confused about certain sections and who's responsible for what, we're all adults. And I think we can sit down and go through that in a work session and be very clear with the guidance of our city attorney as to what that translates to in day-to-day activity. And if after having done that, it doesn't work, then I think we have the right to do that. I just think this is a little premature given everything that's gone on and where we are, and everyone's ability to want to start a new chapter and move forward.
All agree that these things should have been worked out because we've had almost 7 months now to work them out. There's been no effort, I'd say, on either side to make that happen.
I don't see it either.
And with the changes in this form of government, I don't have a problem with this form of government, but I agree with Alderman Carruthers that I don't think we've got the right person in the right places to make it work.
Great.
My question would be, if Mr. Christie is terminated, what's your next plan? You need to have a plan.
Plan is to follow the charter. We would put an interim in place and start the process.
I also am hesitant that after 7 months, we dismiss a city manager and we get the reputation that we are a very difficult board in the city to work with in the pool of future candidates.
He can go back to Illinois.
We'll might see that. We are under a new form of government. We are going through some growing pains. We understood that. I think we all understood there were going to be some growing pains. And I think the easiest thing in the world is to quit.
That's not funny.
I think the easiest thing in the world is to quit and say, us as a board, fire him. I think we have some tough times ahead of us. I think the easiest thing, the easiest thing is to tell Mr. Christie, thank you, did work, we're going to turn the page. But, we still, the problems we have are still going to be here. no matter who's sitting in that chair. So I think, like I said, I agree with Ms. Huffman. It is premature. Mr. Christie and I have had words. I have not appreciated everything he's done. I do appreciate the fact he's been upfront enough to show us what he thinks are some problems we know are some problems. Has his manner been the best sometimes in dealing with them? No. Ours has not been as well. I come from a background where you meet your challenges, you face adversity, you get through them. Easiest thing in the world is to quit. I'll agree with that. But like I said, I think we may be going down the wrong road prematurely. That's what I'm going to say.
I understand the frustration, but I am frustrated also by the lack of cooperation that I've witnessed on this side of the table. There's been an unwillingness to work with the city manager. The city manager, as it's been stated, he hasn't always responded in the best way. He's responded out of his flesh, or he's not been as meek as I'm sure he would like to have been. I don't know if any of us would have done any better than he did. And I think it's unfair that we ignore progressive discipline. We go from one infraction to the guillotine. That's not good business. We talked when we were putting the budget together about how expensive it would be to get rid of somebody and then bring somebody else in. But now you're proposing getting rid of the key cog in this new form of government. It doesn't make any sense. If we really want this city to move forward, we got to be willing to do things differently. We got to be willing to listen to other people and receive their input. You don't have to agree with everything, because every time he says what he's recommending, it's based on his experience, and we don't have to go with it. There's no expectation that we accept everything that he says. The same thing is true with the things that come from our attorney, but we have to value their experience.